All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. And at the end of our last video, which was, I think, number 68 or 69, I was getting this error, and it says here, no overload for method toString takes 1 arguments. I'm going to show you the fix, and then I'll explain what the fix is. I have to cast this as a double. All right, well, I thought that would fix it, but it didn't. No biggie. We're going to fix it in just a minute. All right. The problem with this is going to be shown right here. Again, we've talked about arrays. An array is fixed in size once it's allocated, so you can't add items to it or remove items from it. You can change the values, but you can't remove them. And all elements must be of the same type. An array list, on the other hand, contains a list of objects. That's why we have to cast. I'm casting it wrong. I'll play with it and we'll still get it to work. All right. Now, there's also something called a list. It says a list leverages generics. It is essentially a type-safe version of ArrayLists. So in other words, if you attempt to add something that's wrong, it'll generate a compile time error. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to save this. Even with that in there, even though it's wrong. And I thought that was what it was, but I don't know. One more thing I could try is convert dot to double. Still doesn't like it. Of course, this is just my luck today, but that's okay. All right, we're going to fix it. But I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to leave it the way it is, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I am going to come over to here and I'm going to grab this one I just did here, which is the 6th iteration BMI console, and I'm going to copy it. You've seen me do this umpteen times before and paste it. And I'm going to change this to seventh iteration BMI console. All right, so I've now got that, and I'm going to open up, change the name of the file from 6th to 7th. And I'm going to open it up, and in this file, as we've been doing before, I'm going to change this to 7th, and I'm going to change this to 7th. Okay, and I'm going to save this, close this, just fine. I'll just leave it the way it is. In fact, let's, it's fine. All right. And I'm going to bring this into my program. So let's close this. And let's add an existing project from my C# programs. And again, it is 7th iteration. So we now have that. So we have basically 2 things now that are the same. All right. So I've got this. Again, hopefully this is the 7th iteration. There it is. In fact, let's do a save all. Let's make sure we're opening up the right one. So this is 7th iteration. I am going to set it as my startup project and open it. So this will now say 7th. All right. Here we will add lists. All right, so instead of using an array list, we're going to use a list. And hopefully, at least, you're going to be surprised at how much of this program will be the same. We don't need this. We don't need this. And we don't need that. I probably don't need that either, but I'm going to leave that in there. All right. So we'll start off, we'll keep our program constants the same, but we're going to change these. And when you do a list, you have to let it know what you're basically doing. So in other words, this is going to be list string. All right, and it's going to be equal to a new list string. Kind of weird looking syntax, but that's what it is. All right, so again, we're going to change all these to list. This will be another list string, and this will be another list string. This will be a list of int. And it'll be a new list of int. And let's move this over a little just so it lines up. There. And we'll make this one weights. Whoops. All right. This will be a list of doubles. And finally, this will be a list of strings. So we've changed the type. Instead of having them be array lists, they are now just lists. All right. And I'm hoping at least I'm going to be able to keep as much of this as possible. All right. So we've got our create menu. Looks good the way it is. I don't think we have to change a flipping thing in there. All right. I think everything is fine. All right, and let's see. We've got our input, new person record. We're writing out all of our statistics. We could actually be putting these things, storing them in lists here, and you store them in lists the same way. So let's find that. Output all statistics. All right, and we've got write out to array lists. So we'll move that. All right, so we'll do that in here. All right, write out to array lists. And we'll change this to write out to lists. It'll give us an error, but don't worry about that. We're going to fix that right away. Still got that error, but we'll fix all that in just a minute. All right. So now instead of write out to array lists, we want write out to lists. Okay. All right. So we've got all that done. Okay. Write out our statistics, etc. We've got validate the string input. I don't think that's going to change. We've got validate the int input. I don't think that's going to change. Calculate our BMI and calculate our BMI, and our BMI statuses. Those aren't going to change. Our view existing records. I don't think that's going to have to change. We still clear it the same way. We'll still exit it the same way. All right. Give me just a second here. All right, sorry about that. Again, I've been playing with this, and I'm going to see where we've got this. BMI to string. Now it's not giving me an error. See that? But I want to go back to the old one that we had, which was our 6th iteration. I want to fix that because I want to be able to show you the fix. So we still have an error in this one. And that's this line here. I'm going to replace this line. I'll leave the line here where it is. But underneath it, I'm going to put what I think is the right line. All right, I tried to convert to double, etc., and I think this is cleaner. Now, again, the problem stems from, like I said before, the fact that this is an object with an array list. So I needed 2 parens, and I needed to surround that in a paren and the whole thing here in a paren, and then do the F2 afterwards. I played with it quite a bit. But let me save this. All right, I'm going to take this 6th one and make it my startup project. We're going to run this 6th one again. In fact, let's change this where it comes up at first so you can see that I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes, so to speak. But we're going to put in here version 06. And I'm not going to put a T in there anymore. All right, so it's going to say version 6 if we've got the right one up here. So BMI calculator version 6. Now let's see. I'm just going to do 1 Bob Jones 7310. All right, you can see that it is now when I put a 2, did it go to 2 decimal places? Yes, it did. So that one is fixed. All right. All right. Now let's go on. Let's stop this one. Go back to our 7th one right here. And we're going to change this as well. So this is version 7, 7th version. So this should be welcome to BMI version 7. All right. So this is BMI calculator version 07. All right. And as I mentioned before, the big change in this one is since we're working with a list and not an array list, we don't need to do this anymore. At least I believe we don't need to. See that? Looks like it's going to work. It looks like it's going to work just fine. Except, do I still have the 6th one up? I don't know. This says 7th. So let's close this one. This is 7th. It looks like that's it. 7th, yes. File, save all. And again, we have in here lists. That's really about the only thing that we've changed in here. All right. So let's do a file one more time. Save all. Let's run it. Let's see if it's giving us versions. It says version 6. Oh, because we have to make our startup project version 7. All right. So it should now say version 7, and it does. All right. Let's just try to add 4 people. Person 1. We're going to say they're 70 inches tall and they weigh 100 pounds. So there they are. They're underweight. All right, 1. Person 2. We're going to say they're 70 inches and they weigh 159 pounds. Their optimal weight. All right. Then we're going to have person 3, and they'll be 70 inches and they'll be 190 pounds. They're overweight. Finally, we'll have person 4, 70 inches, and they'll be 300 pounds. And they're obese. So we've got one of each. 1. Now let's see the big test here. So notice that each one of them now, there's number 1, there's number 2. I guess I had a, oh, it's only showing me a couple of them. Well, that isn't good. All right. So there may be an error in my code. Show all records. First names count. Statuses. It looks like it's right to me. I put some notes down here. As far as I know, everything should be correct, but it does not look like it's printing out correctly, so we're going to try it again. So file, in fact, we'll just run the program again. We're going to add 3 people. 1, Ken Jones, 72, 100. All right, they're underweight. 1, John Smith, 72, 199. They're overweight. 1, Brian Dodd, 72, 300 pounds. They're obese. All right, let's do a 2 again. And I have all 3, so I don't know what the problem is or was or whatever. I'm going to take for granted that it's all right. All right, I'm going to try to do something right now. At least I hope this is going to work. Okay, so I'm going to take CMD here. And it's been a while. In fact, let me find that in my mess of junk. Letter, get support, get commands, keep this. That's what I want. It's fine. Let's get rid of that. All right. So we've done that. I need to do this. Git add dot. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. And I will explain why I don't know if it'll work or not in just a minute. So git, oops, I got to go to the right directory. CD to C# programs. CD to desktop. Now CD to C# programs. Git add dot. Error, permission denied. This is the problem I had before. All right, well, I'll just stop right here. I'm going to see if I can add this. I'd like to put this stuff out there in my GitHub repository. I'm going to look at it, see if I can figure out what the problem is, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have another lecture where I'm just going to talk, all right, about what we're going to do next. See you then.